The world applauded your strength, but I saw what it was costing you in secret. I never intended for you to become a container for everyone else's pain while yours stayed ignored. You have worn the face of the strong one for so long that you've forgotten how to ask for help, forgotten how to rest, forgotten what it feels like to be on the receiving end of comfort instead of always giving it away. But I have drawn a line in the sand now. I will not stand by while the weight you carry bends you beyond what you were made for. The burden that sits on your shoulders may be invisible to others, but it screams to me in the spirit, and I am answering it with action. I am not asking you to explain it to me. I already understand. I'm not waiting for you to be strong enough to reach out. I'm stepping in before you collapse. That's why this helper is on the way. Not because you're weak, but because you've been faithful far longer than anyone realized. And now it's time for my faithfulness to meet your fatigue. This person is not coming to observe your pain or comment on your struggle. They are being dispatched to relieve it, to share it, to help you breathe again. And child, they will not make you feel ashamed for needing support. They will honor the courage it took to carry what you did in silence for so long. They will not rush your healing. They will not expect explanations. They will simply show up and begin to lift what has weighed down your soul like chains. You've gotten so used to dragging emotional burdens through your daily routine that you've forgotten life wasn't meant to feel like survival every day. But that ends now. I'm shifting your season from endurance to partnership. You're not meant to walk this out with clenched fists and a guarded heart. You're meant to encounter someone who helps you release what was never yours to carry alone. You have mourned in the dark. You have struggled in private. But I am bringing someone who sees you, not your mask, not your role, not your performance, but the real you underneath it all. And they will not flinch. They will not pity you. They will walk with you, shoulder to shoulder, bearing the weight with supernatural strength I've placed inside them just for you. Let this be the moment you stop trying to be everything for everyone. Let this be the shift where you realize that my help doesn't always come from a burning bush or a parted sea. Sometimes, my help arrives in the form of a voice that speaks peace without needing answers, and a presence that stays when you unravel. You don't have to hide anymore. You don't have to pretend you're okay when you're breaking. I'm not impressed by your ability to suffer silently. I'm moved by your willingness to trust me with your weakness. So I'm responding not later, not eventually, but now. Your strength was never meant to be solitary. It was meant to be multiplied. And this person I am sending will carry what you no longer need to drag. Not forever, but until you remember how to walk light again. Help is not just a hope anymore, it is becoming your reality. Prepare your heart. Loosen your grip. Because what's coming will teach you that shared burdens don't break you, they heal you. There is a timing to my movements that surpasses understanding, and right now, you are standing in the very moment I prepared long ago. When your strength feels like it's thinning, when your thoughts feel heavier than your body, and when everything in you wants to retreat, know this. I am not just aware, I am intervening. You are approaching a point where pretending no longer works, and that's exactly why I am placing someone near you who isn't arriving by coincidence, but by commission. They are not stepping into your life accidentally.
Schedules all my meetings over email.
Calm, present. This is not a seasonal friend. This is not a passing support. This is someone who hath been supernaturally guided by my spirit to arrive at the intersection of your greatest need and my greatest provision. And they are not empty-handed. They carry wisdom sharpened by affliction, empathy cultivated through private battles, and discernment honed by fire. They are not just coming to offer words, they are coming to offer presence. A presence that doesn't pressure, doesn't push, doesn't demand you to be better, but one that simply says, you're not alone anymore. This person will feel like peace in the midst of the noise. They won't fix the chaos, but they'll remain steady in it. They're not intimidated by your unspoken fears or your messy moments. They've been taught by me to recognize the sacredness of someone who's still healing, someone who's barely holding it together. You won't have to earn their attention. You will need to prove your worth to be worthy of their compassion. I've shown them your heart through my eyes, and they are coming to treat it with reverence. They won't ask you to explain the parts of your journey that words can't capture. Instead, they'll listen for what your silence is really saying. And in doing so, something inside you will begin to trust again, not just them, but me. You've been guarded for so long that vulnerability feels like danger. But what I'm sending will not threaten your safety, it will restore your security. You'll know it's me because your spirit will recognize their arrival not as intrusion, but as invitation. I am sending someone who doesn't come with all the answers but comes with the capacity to stand. They won't try to rush your process or perform spiritual surgery with careless hands. They know how to sit with broken pieces and wait while I rebuild. That's why I chose them. Because I knew that this moment in your life would require more than a passerby, it would require a companion formed in the waiting room of my presence. Someone whose own tears have become intercession. Someone whose own history with me has taught them how to walk with gentleness and unshakable faith. You've needed someone like this not just to hear you, but to hold space for you. And now that hour has come. Your most fragile moment is not where things fall apart, it's where things fall into place. Because I've placed someone beside you who reflects the heart of your Father. The help I send doesn't just carry solutions, it carries safety. It reminds you that even in your weakest hour, you were never out of my reach, and now you're not without human hands either. So open your heart, child, not to just anyone, but to the one I am sending. The one who's coming not because they chose this path, but because I chose them for yours. You need to understand that I did not choose someone common for this assignment. The one I am sending was not selected based on charm, position, or appearance. They were chosen because they let me lead them through flames they didn't ask for, through storms they didn't deserve, through valleys they could have escaped but didn't. They stayed with me even when it cost them everything. They didn't skip the pain, I let them walk through it so they could be shaped into someone who can now carry healing with every word, every step, every breath. This person doesn't bring empty promises or rehearsed sympathy. They bring weight that breaks chains without needing to raise their voice. Their wounds have become wells of wisdom. Your scars are not shameful, they are sacred evidence that I redeem everything surrendered to me. And I've been refining them in silence, just as I've been working on you in secret. You both have been in preparation for a moment such as this. The moment where two lives, refined and humbled, collide not just for companionship, but for kingdom purpose. The presence they carry is not loud, but it shifts atmospheres. They won't enter your life needing validation or recognition. They are not coming to take anything from you, they are coming to pour into places in you that have long been dry. This isn't someone who was merely educated about pain, they've tasted it, survived it, and allowed it to teach them how to love deeply without judgment. They know what it means to hold someone who's unraveling without trying to fix them. They know what it feels like to speak softly when noise feels like harm. Their presence will begin to dismantle the inner walls you've built, not because they demand it, but because safety disarms defenses. They will sit beside you without rushing your healing. They will look at your reality and still see your calling. Because it's what happens when someone is sent, not self-appointed. They are not coming to serve their agenda, they are coming to serve my purpose in you. You may not recognize it right away, but your spirit will. The atmosphere will confirm it before your mind understands it. Don't dismiss their quiet strength. Don't overlook the holiness they carry simply because they're not flashy or forceful. The fire they've endured has made them soft in the ways that matter and unshakable in the ways that protect. They will stand their ground when darkness tries to speak again. And not only will they stand, they will remind you how to stand too. I've embedded in them a discernment that sees beneath the surface. They will read what's unspoken, catch what you don't know how to share, and still choose to stay. They don't flinch at tears. They don't flee when truth shows up raw and unfinished. Your training wasn't in a classroom, it was in the crucible of surrender. And now they carry the oil of that fire, oil that will pour over your wounds without stinging, oil that heals without pressure. This is not a temporary fix, I'm sending you someone who understands the terrain of the soul and knows how to walk through it with gentleness and reverence. You've encountered people who reacted to your brokenness. But this one, they'll respond with grace, with a presence that feels like sunlight after endless gray. That's how you'll know it's me in them. Their words won't be perfect, but they'll be timely. Your touch won't erase your story, but it will steady your steps. And the healing you've waited for, it will begin not with a miracle you can explain, but with a connection you can feel. That's what happens when I send someone trained by fire, not just to witness your journey, but to walk it with you until you remember you were never too far gone for restoration. What you released in your private agony wasn't ignored or delayed. The moment your spirit collapsed into surrender and the tears flowed freely, unfiltered, desperate, holy, I responded. Heaven is not slow to act when my beloved is broken. Your cry wasn't weak, it was powerful. It reached me before your words could. That single, trembling moment became a divine signal, a summons that moved heaven into motion. You didn't have to perform. You didn't need the right prayer. You didn't even need to speak aloud. Because in that silence, soaked in anguish, you spoke in a language only I fully understand, the language of tears. And I want you to know, child, that I didn't hesitate. I didn't weigh whether you deserved an answer, I already knew you did. I've been waiting for your surrender so I could release what's been held back, not because I was punishing you, but because timing matters when it comes to sacred help. And now, the wait is over. What you thought was far off has already crossed the threshold. What you thought you were begging for has already been assigned and dispatched. The help you thought you'd need to endure for is not in the future, it's stepping into your present. And this one